Welcome, guys, to my Love Island Games recap for season 1, episodes 8 and 9. Welcome back with me, guys. Yes, I took a few days off. We had the Big Brother finale. Thank God that's over. um, Still need to do a finale week recap on Big Brother, but I am done covering Big Brother otherwise for the season, meaning no more watching episodes. So, very excited for that. And I can really concentrate on these Love Island games because, I didn't realize the season was going to be so short, but they are doing the thing. Like, it is such a good season. I said last night, if you haven't watched it, I was on last night on Reality Realness with three S's, Chantel's channel to recap episode 9. But I was like, I could not come back here and not recap for you guys episodes 8 and 9. I will try to be here every night if I can, that the show is on going forward and recapping these episodes for you guys. So, but I did say I watched 4 maybe seasons of Love Island in the past year, and this has been the absolute best season that I've watched all year. It, the it feels like the other seasons they would start off well and then they would end terribly. And I don't know what it is that the producers need to change, but they need to change something because the feeling that we're getting from this show is just so different. And I don't know if it's because we already know the people and we're invested already in them. We want to find them, but I feel like I get super invested in the characters that we see in Love Island off the bat, especially the OGs. I feel like I want to have them find love. Are there always people I want to find love? Is there people I want to get off my screen immediately in the first few weeks? Absolutely. But for the most part, I'm supportive of everybody, especially, you know, my people of color, black women. I want them to find love. So I don't think it's that it's necessarily the investment, but I don't know what spark is here that we're not getting on the other seasons, but they need to figure it out. And I feel like once we see Love Island All Stars, which should be coming out in January, we will really kind of know where maybe the other shows are going wrong, in my opinion. So episode 8, we start off with we had just end Snog Marry Pie, and the guys and girls split off to discuss what happened. Johnny is like, "Oh, Sully put out a diss track on me." Sully didn't put out a diss track on Johnny. Sully made a song. She made a bunch of songs and made a EP, and on the album, one of the songs was something that she had written right after her and Johnny broke up. Because from Jump, we knew that Sully was a singer. Done another, what do you call it, reality TV show or competition show, and it was her singing. She didn't win. She actually lost that show, but that's always been Sully's goal. So, what singer or performer doesn't utilize what's going on in their personal life to put out into the atmosphere? But it wasn't a diss track to to Johnny. But Johnny's like, it's a diss track, and oh, he's been public enemy number one going into that night. And so I was like, Johnny, you just wanted to pie her, and it was childish. You're gonna come up with whatever you want to, but you have not changed, and that is my opinion. Jesto is pissed that he didn't tell her that he was open, and I am confused. Are things different in Love Island Australia? I only watched one season. And as far as I saw, it all felt the same. You are open on Love Island until you say you're not open. Until you say the door is closed, you are open. Why is it that Jess feels like it's the opposite way? I don't know. Somebody did say that she had a bad experience during her Love Island, which fair, but you would think that that would make her even more be as communicative as possible to Johnny to say, okay, how if are we actually looking to do something like beyond this show? Are you just sticking with me for the rest of this games? Whether we're trying to find something, figure out something romantic, or trying to actually just do this for the game. Like, where are we at, so that I could know, so I can figure out how to play. Instead she's just allowing Johnny to just play her. It's crazy. She'd rather be played by Johnny and get upset at all the girls trying to do what they're supposed to be doing and going after him than to actually have a conversation with him about what's going on. But she feels disrespected, and we see Johnny talking to the guy, saying with him and Georgia, it was just like organic. He's attracted to her, she's attracted to him. Hello, that's kind of what he said also about him and Liberty. So my whole thing is he actually attracted to Jess, or is he just with Jess because it'll be easier to maintain something with Jess so that they can get through these games? Because I personally feel like that Johnny came on this like this is the challenge USA, which we know he was trying to get on the challenge for years after Love Island, and then he thought he was going to get on. He didn't get on. I think he did get on one season. He never got on the Challenge USA like, the rest of the people, Sally, Justine, some of the other, John, I think, who was it? Johnny was on there. Giovanni was on there. Cinco was on there. So there was opportunities for him to get on the challenge. He's only been, I think, on one season of the challenge. So I think he came on to this as if this was the challenge instead of Love Island games. And so he's playing this as if this is the challenge, whereas I think most of the people are open to what is potentially available to them in the romantic department. But Johnny is saying to the guys he's not understanding the issue. He never said he was exclusive with Jess, and then unfortunately, Jess is making me agree with Johnny here. I don't understand. There is no exclusivity. So what are you upset about? Um, Liberty, we do see, confront Jess about pieing her for Johnny. Jess gives some bullshit reason. Oh, it's just because I was in jeopardy and you put me in jeopardy. And I'm like, what are you talking about, Jess? Like, you just wanted to pie her to be provocative. You thought it was going to go over well, and you thought she was going to take that shit. But she didn't. Hi, Divine Me. I'm here, just starting. I'm on episode 8, so you haven't missed much. um, uh, so I think she thought that Liberty was going to actually take what she had been doing to her as if it was nothing, and Liberty was like, listen, no, don't treat me that way. Don't act like this is something different than what I've already stated to you. And you're not going to keep pushing me around like that. So she does confront her. She does tell her that she's over it. And just as she agrees, she doesn't want to fight over a guy like Johnny. And Liberty says, good, can we leave it here now? Because I'm over it. Hi, Divine. Divine says, okay, how are you? I am doing good. Still going through these shows and trying to catch up on Love Island games. I should be on track moving forward. So welcome. Thank you for watching, guys. Um, we see the guys note that Kara was pissed about Megan kissing Callum. And Callum's pissed because he got pied 3 times, and they asked him, well, why did you pie Kira? And he's like, well, I pied her because she stole Meg. I thought I was going to get with Meg, and she came in and stole her. Um, Meg says she's never kissing Callum again. She thinks it just makes things too complicated. And Kira says, good. Sally and Eyal chat and says, she didn't need to pie Johnny. He's like, oh, I thought you were going to. And she's like, no, I'm over him. What do I need? He's the one that's why I'm saying he's the one that seems to be still salty, because why are you buying me? And I agree with her. Like, a diss track? What? That was, and to be fair, I think she put that song out at least a year ago. At least. Like, what? Anyway. She asked him about him and Megan, though, and he basically is like we were young, we were babies, and it wasn't much that happened. It was villa stuff, and now there's nothing between them. It was just for fun. But El says he can't wait for these challenges. He thinks they're going to do good. Sally feels like she can feel the attraction from El. Unlike when she was with Toby, she didn't really feel that he was as attracted to her. And we do see, like, they're just sitting there having this conversation. They're even talking about their exes, and El is like holding on to her, rubbing on her leg, and like eye contact, really pulling like conversation with her. And it is, and I liked Toby and Sully's chemistry, but I did see the disconnect. And with El and Sully, it is a lot more sparky. It's so much more something there. Absolutely. Um, and I found out last night that apparently El lives in LA just like Sully. So potential. Um, Sally feels like she can Toby and Georgia chat in soul ties, and apparently their first kiss during the challenge they like knocked teeth. Which that kind of sucks. I don't know if I've ever knocked teeth when I kiss someone. But I guess if you're trying to like have at it during a challenge, it's probably difficult. Um, uh, Divine Me says El is beautiful. Very. That's a handsome young man. Yep. Very handsome. Um, he asked her what did she think about him marrying Sally, and she thinks that him marrying Sally was respectful. He thinks though that after that challenge, there's nothing left between him and Sally. They don't chat. He says she and he haven't chat all day. And my thing is, Toby, did you pull Sally for a chat? Did you? If you're still interested, why didn't you pull Sally for a chat? Jess confronts Johnny, wants to know if he's going to get to know Georgia, and he says yes. And he says, I never said I was closed off. And he's like, he said this was a challenge. And that's also a thing, because usually it's so funny because usually in Love Island you would have these conversations to say, oh, if it's a challenge, you can do whatever you want to, not do whatever you want to, however you as a couple have those conversations to really decide like how you're moving forward, because you're thinking, I'm building romantic bonds with other people. But it seems like here people aren't having these conversations, because this is the second time that something like this has happened, where with Lisa and Curtis this happened, that she got upset with him kissing other people in a challenge, and again not having the conversation, that they were like closed off. And now we're seeing it with Jess, where in Johnny's head, again, this is a challenge, and he's obviously going to kiss people in the challenge, and also he's not closed off, he's open to whatever. Jess does point out, she's like, listen, I'm here to find love. I am not here just for the game. So, like, I don't play me, don't placate me, don't make me feel like I'm being disrespected. And he does apologize. He says he's making her, he's sorry, he's making her upset and and feel disrespected. And I feel like I'm watching season 2 of Love Island USA yet again. It's like Johnny is still the same Johnny. We're still seeing him move in the same manner. He's doing the same things. I'm just like, sorry for Jess. Sorry for Jess. Like, this is not it. This is not it. Um, let's see. EL and Megan have a conversation, and Ray notices when they're going upstairs to Soul Ties to talk. And he says to Kara, oh, y'all are competing for the same girl. And Kara says, nah, she's not into him. But we see that they do chat, Megan and EL, and he asks her about kissing Callum, and she says it's over. And he says, yeah, it kind of does seem like you and Kara are more serious than maybe I would have thought you guys are. I know you like to have fun and play around. And she's like, yeah. She's worrying that she doesn't want to get herself caught up again. And so we're seeing the after effects of a lot of these people's experiences from their Love Island experiences, kind of moving into their new experiences. Megan, similar to Sally, it seems like, got with EL, and or maybe like with one person and just like kind of stuck, and that's not what she wants to do. And so we do kind of see her, she says it's learning from her mistakes, but it feels kind of like it, she's a little toxic and she's gonna sabotage herself, because we do see her say she got jealous that EL was kissing all these other girls in the villa, and she wants him to kiss her again, and he said no, he's not going to do that. He's like, I just kissed Sally, I'm not kissing you. And she asked him um multiple times to kiss her, and he's like, I know you're playing around, I'm not going to do this. He ITMs, I'm not creating this type of drama for myself in this villa. um and he's like, ODL would have went ahead just like a puppy and done it. And I absolutely appreciate EL in this situation, because absolutely there are so many men who just walk through the door and they had the chance to kiss their ex, whether they want them or not, to go ahead and do it. And he doesn't. I feel like it was so absolutely respectful to Sally for him to not give in to what Megan was looking for in this situation. So, like, made me like him even more, how he handled this. So, Sally chats about how much she really likes EL, and how Johnny can chat his way out of stuff, her and Jess. Um, Divine Me says, did you watch Megan? I did not watch. So, Megan, EL, Jack, Georgia, I think we're all on the same season, right? Am I wrong? All right. Season 4 of Love Island, and I didn't watch that season at all. I started watching Love Island USA season 2. So once season 2 came on, I watched it all the way through, and then I went back, watched season one, and then went and then I think it was either Chantal or something told me to watch Love Island UK. Oh no, somebody on Twitter was talking about Love Island UK season 6, which had Mike and Priscilla, and they recommend watching their journey because Justine was always talking about Mike and Priscilla. So I went back and watched season 6, and then I think Chantel told me to watch season 5. She told me to watch 4 and 5, but I only watched 5, and then I watched from there. I've been watching current going forward, so I've watched 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then I've watched all seasons of Love Island USA, and then I watched one season of Australia, which was not last season, but the season before with Taku. I did cover it on this channel. If you did not watch that, you can go watch my recaps on that season. But yes, I did not watch their season. Divine Me says Megan left EL for I think Wes, and she also coupled up with another girl. Yeah, so I did hear about her coupling up with another girl. And Divine Me says Georgia was messy. Yes, Chantel was telling me that Georgia was really messy. So maybe I'll go back and watch it if I have some time. Just haven't had the time, and haven't really. Nobody was like, "Oh, you have to watch this." So, we'll see. Maybe I'll go back and watch it. Um, and Sally again says she hasn't talked to Toby, but she probably should. And we do see that they kind of chat, and they're like chatting out in front of everybody on the beds, and they basically are saying the same thing. Toby is like he wants to be pursued, and Sally wants to be pursued. She feels like since Georgia got there, she can see that he is pursuing Georgia more than he ever pursued. She feels he ever pursued her, and he's basically saying, "I feel the same way about you with EL." But I think in Sally's brain, it feels like, well, with EL, he's making it easier for me to feel pursued, so I can give him the physical and mental, emotional attention that is necessary to build a romantic relationship. So they're at a standstill. They both feel like the other wasn't into them as much as they thought. Jack and EL go to talk, and he tells Jack about Megan trying to kiss him, and he is like, what to do? And he's like, it came out of nowhere. But Jack said, you know, you made the right decision not to do that to Sally. And he said, well, options are open, but I still wouldn't have felt right doing it. So he says he wants to give Megan the opportunity to tell Kira, and he asked Jack to keep it to himself, and Jack said, "Oh no, yeah, no, you don't have to worry about me letting anybody know this." And again, we know, like with Kira, Kira is Justine's best friend. She's also really close to Sally. Um, so they don't want to hurt anybody in this situation. Johnny and Georgia chat, and they do have like a little bit of a vibe. I just, I can't take Johnny seriously with these conversations because he just wants to be able to make out and keep it moving. So she does say, though, she's really likes Toby. She's very interested in him, very attracted to him. Um, and Jess says that watching her from the other side of the villa, watching Johnny and Georgia, she says that really gave her clarity in how Johnny moves. And Johnny did say to Georgia he's not fazed by Georgia and Toby's relationship. If he wants to come after her, he will. And Jess is just getting upset by how much Johnny is giving Jess attention. She doesn't want to be a second option to no one. And let me see. Divine Me says here, Jess is delusional. You can't stand an hour begging Johnny to manipulate her. And it's true. I feel like that's basically what she's doing at this point. It's Johnny. She comes, she has these conversations with Johnny. She feels disrespected because he I don't feel like he cares enough about her not to disrespect her. And then she comes back and she's like, oh, but he's flirting with me again, and everything kind of goes out the window. And I need Jess to stand up, girl. Period. Um. So she said yesterday she wasn't getting anything, and today she feels like she said yesterday and today she's not been getting anything from him basically since Georgia walked into the villa, and he basically then flirts her over it. Like they make out and then it's all out the window. It's just I can't, Jess. Please, 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 Jess, stop. So Georgia and Meg talk, and she thinks there's going to be drama. And she tells her about the issue with El, and she doesn't know how Kira's going to take it. If she also says she doesn't like being told no, so that's why she kept pushing the kissing thing. We do see on the terrace, Justine and Jack are cuddling up, but she's in the villa, kind of spiraling. And so, back to what I had been saying to you guys a few days ago, I was concerned about whether or not, like I told you guys, I understood Justine going for Curtis, despite what Curtis was, his journey through season 5 of Love Island. And the reason why was because I've seen with my very own eyes that Curtis is interested in black women. So I got it. And then found out from Justine and Sally's recap show. They do like about a 15-minute ish, 20-minute recap prior to every episode coming out, about the prior episode. We do find out, she said when she had a conversation with Curtis, he said he's moving to LA in a year. We know Justine lives in LA. So for her, it just was lining up. Um, and she just thought that would be the better option. She really didn't see Jack's season. She was attracted to him, but she also was like physically like, okay, he could do good for these games, but she wasn't sure about anything romantic with him. And I did find out that apparently Jack is a quarter black. So who knew? Yay. And that he has probably dated black women. He has black women in his family. So here we go. Like, I'm good. Okay. So that throws that stuff out the window. So we could just concentrate on whether or not he actually likes Justine, the person, rather than whether he is into black women at all. So we do see she is kind of just like spiraling, and she does pull Ray for a chat, and they go up to Soul Ties in their chat, and Justine asks how Ray and Imani are doing, and he says they're doing great. He can see things really moving on the outside for them, and she says, and she's like, really? She's like, he's like, very much so, and she's like, she doesn't think that's where Jack is, and he's like, really? And he's like, have you had the conversation? No, we haven't had the conversation. She feels it's too soon to bring it up, but she realizes she's catching feelings. And Ray is like, yeah, but I think he's really into you, like you and only you. And she feels the same way. And then we see her just start breaking down. And I'm going to say this, it's fuck Caleb forever on this channel, period, point blank. What he did to her, because she even said she came into this thinking that she was over it, but the type of deception that he did to her, um, whether or not it was on the show, but after the show, was just gross. and we see that it is still affecting her. Like, she basically has PTSD. She really does. Because you just never know. You never know. Um, and Ray does tell her, because she's crying, that, she's a baddie not to cry. And he does kind of console her. And I don't want to say I feel bad for Justine, but I understand how she's feeling. I so understand. Like, the coming into here thinking that you've moved past stuff, it's really hard when you realize that um, there's just a fear. What I'm concerned about is her actually using those fears to sabotage her potential relationship with Jack. She needs to, if she really wants to take this on the outside, she really needs to ask the questions that will get her comfortable with being able to see them on the outside. I don't think she wants to ask the question, because I don't think she wants to know the answer. Because either way, think about it. If he gives her the answer she doesn't want, which is no, like, I don't see how this is going to work, it's going to be devastating if she's already catching feelings. And if he gives her the answer that she does want, which is, hell yes, I can see myself moving to LA in 6 months, I'm going to come stay with you, I'm going to be with you, she might not even believe it. She might feel like it's not even possible or true, because she's been through it. That other man said he was going to move to LA with her. That other man did a lot of that same thing, being very deceptive with her, till, the truth came out after the show. So, Demime says, yes, I cried along with Justine. All these girls get played by the boys in reality series. Yeah, and even I've been saying this, I keep saying this. I love Ray. Ray is a good friend. Ray has always been a good friend. I've watched him be friends with Asada. I've watched him be friends with Cash. I've watched him be friends with Justine and Sally. He is a good friend. He has been a shitty boyfriend. If you watch his journey from Love Island, I loved him. I loved him and Carol together. But then they came off and they went on The Amazing Race, and it was bad, guys. Like, he was not kind to her. Which was shocking, because I thought he and her had a really good relationship, and they just broke up because of distance. But then we find out on X to the Beach, no, they broke up because she thought he was sleeping with his best friend. And what we find out is he was sleeping with his best friend. And he kept telling her, making Carl feel like she was crazy and thinking that that's what was happening. He was sleeping with two of his best friends. And so I'm always going to kind of side-eye Ray, even as we see how Ray is so super sweet. And technically, on paper, Ray and Imani should be a really good potential. She's a Taurus. She's a Cancer. When you look at their charts, they're really good. They seem to have a lot of commonalities and a lot of understanding for each other, let alone that they are sexually attracted to each other. But it might not be Ray, it might be Imani, I don't know, but you never know how these things end up. Never know. So we do see that next up, there's a text. There will be a couples challenge hosted by a special guest, and the challenge would provide them with a new power couple, and the couples at the bottom will be vulnerable, and they break off to get to know you, because it was like hashtag if you know you know. So they do kind of drill each other on things they like sexual history, all that stuff. And then we see Moira Higgins arrives, and she's joking with them. She's like, I see you kick Curtis out, and they laugh. And the challenge is called Knowing Me, Knowing You. And she said, practicing, I saw y'all practicing, but practicing here is going to be useless. It's about what your other half is thinking. And there is a wall, and they're each going to answer the question, and it's either going to be girl side is going to be answering what the guy's side is actually thinking, or the guy's side is going to think actually put down what the girl side is thinking. And we do see that they had split. Kiara was on the girl side and Megan was on the guy's side. So the first question was, other than you, which islander does your partner think is the hottest? And we see Georgia say for Toby, Sally, and that was a match. Toby said Sally. Jessica says Georgia, and that was a match. Johnny said Georgia. Justine says Imani for Jack, and that was a match. And Kira says Yao for Megan, and that was a match. Liberty says Megan. That was a match. Of course, we know Callum is still into Megan. Sully says Imani for EL, and that was a match. And everybody's like, oh, but they had kissed each other during the challenge the night before. Imani says Sully for Ray, and that was a match. And I was like, oh wow, who knew? But that was because of that long ass kiss that Imani had to witness between Ray and Sully. And it's funny because astrologically Sully and Ray would never work. So. He's a Taurus like me, and she is a Gemini, which is adjacent sign. And trust me, we are not. Us and Gemini's, like friendship, great friendships. My best friend's a Gemini, love them. But romantically, I've never seen it with a Gemini. My ex-husband is literally on the cusp. He's a Taurus, but he's on the day where the literally you could either be a Taurus or a Gemini, and he has little Gemini traits, and they drove me crazy. But Divine Me says, I think Ray's exaggerating, but I know Imani is a strong, confident woman. I do agree with that. That's one of the things I've liked about Imani, seeing her come in. She is strong. She is confident. I love that about her. And she has not wavered in that. Like, we've not seen her even like a little bit, even despite the journey she's been on in her first Love Island season. We have not seen her waver, and I hope it never does, because she is, she's everything. She's smart, she's banging body, beautiful girl, everything. So absolutely. Next, we see best qualities is the next question, and Toby says that he thinks that her best quality is her eyes, and Georgia does match him there. Johnny says Jess's bubbly personality, and Jack says Justine's smile, and they match. So Johnny matched, Jack matched. Megan says everything. And Kira says, no, I thought you would say my confidence. So not a match there. Callum says tits. Really, Callum? Somebody slapped this guy upside his head. And Liberty said, no, I thought you would say I was kind-hearted. And he's like, oh. I can't. EL says everything. And he matches Sally. She said he put everything. And Ray and Imani, Ray put her intelligence, which I'm shocked that she really didn't know, because he right off the bat said he loved that she was in school. He loves how smart that she is. But she put down that she's nurturing, and she's like, you like that, and he's like, oh yeah, I do. That's true. But yeah, I was shocked she didn't think the intelligence first. Divine me's laughing at Hallam. I can't. I was like, really? That's what you're paying attention to, Callum? Please. Like yet you don't want to get with the girl, so why are you paying attention to her tits? I can't. Um, where are we going? Oh, who would be left on red? So, who in the villa would your partner leave on red? Um, Georgia put that Toby would leave Callum on red. Um, and Toby put it would be EL. Or yes, that's I'm doing it right. And Jess said that Johnny would leave Sally on red, and he put yeah, Sally. That's a match. Um, Justine put Callum for Jack, and they asked Jack why, and Jack said, "Oh, I love him. He's like a brother, but sometimes he drives me crazy." And we're gonna find Callum on this list a couple times because Kara also, of course, put Callum. Liberty said for Callum, Kira, and Sally just does say for EL Megan, and that matches. Imani put EL, and Ray said Toby, and she's like, "Oh yeah, they do have that brother father thing going on." Um, and EL is next up, and he does. Oh wait, no, sorry. Ooh, I think I'm somehow missed something here. But Mora, oh, I think this was supposed to be Megan. Megan, no. I don't know what I missed here. Mora does hint at the kiss. I think EL was talking, and Mora hints at the kiss rejection between him and Megan. And she pushes, she like kind of like jabs on it, and finally he kind of comes clean, and Megan says, "Oh, I'm just being flirty. I was just being flirty," and Megan's like, "Oh, I'm open. I don't see the problem." You can see on the other side, Kira is confused as hell. So, um, she doesn't know what's going on. She thinks this is out of nowhere, and also just Megan's verbal responses to everybody's reactions is confusing her. Um, and so she's kind of getting upset. The next question is, which Islander is your partner? Does your partner think is faking their relationship? And after that entire exchange, Kira wants to put Megan, but she doesn't think she'll put herself. Georgia says that Toby said Sally. He had put Megan, and Sally's like, "What are you talking about?" So Toby does come clean that he had said that he feels that Sally faked her feelings with him, and we see Sally is like crying. She doesn't understand where this is coming from. She never faked her feelings with him, and she's so upset. And so we do see it was like some combination of like Jess said Megan. Johnny matched with her on that. Justine and Johnny both said, but Justine said Johnny, but Jack said Megan. Kira said Callum, and Megan said Johnny. Liberty said Megan. Callum said Johnny. Sally does say Megan, and EL matched her there, and Imani just does say Megan, and Ray matched her there. And which couple should go home next is the next question. And Georgia says Megan and Kira. but Toby says El and Sally. Um, Jess says Callum and Liberty, which does match Johnny because they are in a friendship couple. Justine says Johnny and Jess, which Jack does match. Kira says Callum and Liberty, but Megan said Jess and Johnny. Liberty and Liberty says Jack and Justine because they're a strong couple. But Callum said Johnny and Jess. Sully says Megan and Kira, but Yale says Johnny and Jess. And Imani says Megan and Kira, which does match Ray. So we see here kind of like it's either people are targeting people because they are in a friendship couple, Liberty and Callum, a strong couple, Johnny and Jack and Justine, meaning they're strong in the games, or they are both strong and people don't believe them, which is where we're getting this Johnny and Jess stuff. And so the results of the competition is in seventh place, last place, Liberty and Callum. It was probably that tits question, Callum. But again, remember, we found out on episode, what, one or two, um, Liberty and Callum are working with one brain, Liberties. Sixth place, Georgia and Toby. Fifth place, Kira and Megan. Fourth place, Sully and Niel. Third place is Imani and Ray. Second place was Justine and Jack. And first place was Jess and Johnny, which Jess is ecstatic because if that means they know each other, she did better than all the people in the villa, and finally they could maybe become a power couple. But we find out that the points that they received, they received a point corresponding with their placement. They will be converted to coins, and they're going to give them these coins. These coins are going to have them put in a depository with the name of each couple, and they have to pick a couple to be dumped. Basically, they're going to put two couples vulnerable, and the couple with the least coins are going to be the power couple for this week. And so we do see in episode 9, we start off with each couple sitting down in front of the coin depository. And first, Georgia and Toby discuss what to do. And they think they should just put all their coins in one bin for one couple. We don't hear which couple, though. Johnny and Jess mostly put theirs in Liberty and Callum because they feel like that's who everybody's going to target, and they should because they are a friendship couple. Megan and Kira chat about the kiss incident with El, and she's like, I don't understand what the issue is. We're open. I said I was going to be open. And Kira's like, I said I was going to be open too. That's not the issue. If you had communicated with me, then I would know what's going on. But the fact, like, I'm looking for somebody who can communicate with me. If you can't communicate me what's going on in everything, whether it makes you upset or sad or you want to go pursue somebody, that's a problem. Megan says she doesn't think that it's a big deal. She doesn't say on one hand you're saying you want me to communicate with me, on the other hand you're being judgmental of me trying to kiss you out. And I'm like, that is not what Kira's saying. Kira's saying, especially we are playing not just Love Island, we're playing Love Island games. If you guys are not in communication on the same page as like above everybody else, people will use that to get you out, period. So I agree with Kira here. Like, Megan should have told her, even if it's just a flirt, even if it was just for fun, just told her, like, oh, I was just up there flirting with I tried to get him to kiss me, but he wouldn't do it because he's actually into Sully. Isn't that great? And just be done with it. If Kira gets upset, and then be like, I thought we both said we were open. Are you a little more into this than I thought? If I'm gonna get to know him if I want to. Like, have the conversation. So the majority in in uh in Liberty and Callum is where Kira wants to put her coins, but Megan's like, but those are my two closest friends, and she's like, Liberty and Callum. And I was like, yeah, I don't know that Kira's not paying attention to that. Liberty is Megan's counterpart from the UK. She's always said that she was the only girl in there that she knew. Yes, Georgia just came on, but I don't know what Georgia and Megan's relationship was coming off of their season. um but we do know this, like, she, like, while, even though she doesn't want to romantically pursue Callum, he's still, like, close to her. We see Jack and Justine, and we see Justine saying, like, this literally is the first time that they are just not on the same page, because their loyalties are divided. Jack is from the UK, Justine's from the US. And so, like, Jack wants to make a move on these power couples, and one is Imani and Ray, and she's like, no, because they saved us. Remember, like, we can't do that. And he's like, Johnny and Jess, and then she's like, no, we owe them, because remember when Johnny and Imani were in the power couple spot and they could save a couple, they saved Jack and Justine. So she doesn't want to mess that up by targeting them. But he obviously, it's so funny because all the people except for Toby and Liberty that are left in the villa that are on the UK side are all people from his season and that he's close to, and he doesn't want to target any of them. So they're having a hard time trying to figure out who is best for them to target. Um, Liberty and Callum talk, and she's like, she doesn't want to target Imani and Ray because they're her friends. And Callum's like, are you okay? But are you here for friendship, or are you here to win these games? Which, fair point, Callum. Um, Imani and Ray feel like they will be targeted, so they have to play strategic. And El and Sally have the same kind of conversation that Jack and Justine had. Their loyalties are divided. How can they do this? Because again, El, most of the people there are from, like, his season that he knows, that he's close to, and the same thing with Sally. She is close to nearly everybody from the U.S. season. Um, so we get the results. They come with, Moira comes back with pouches with the coins in them, and the one with the least amount of coins will be the new power couple, and the new power couple is Imani and Ray. And a lot of people are surprised, I think, about this, but to me it made sense. I think Imani and Ray have a genuine connection. They are coming into these games as honestly as possible, and I think a lot of people trust them, so their social game is on fleek. And I think that for most people, they just feel like they are have this romantic connection that they want to keep helping them foster. um, and they're asked how they feel, and they said, well, this is a hard position to be in. It's not easy being the power couple because you have to make decisions that you may not like to make. So we do see in second place Jack and Justine, and I think the same thing. It's the same situation. Jack and Justine is there for everybody on both sides of the aisle, and while they are a threat, just like Imani and Ray, they also, everybody can see their connection. So third place is Georgia and Toby. Fourth place was Sally and El. Fifth place was Kira and Megan. And so the vulnerable couples are Jess and Johnny, Liberty and Callum. And Jess and Johnny got 206 coins. Liberty and Callum 347 coins. So we do see most people targeted Liberty and Callum because they're a friendship couple. And they are a strong couple. Jess and Johnny don't feel like it was, because they're a threat. They get it. Johnny does say, like, he basically needs more social connections. Liberty and Callum say it sucks to be in the bottom. And Moira announces that there will be a new duel to decide who stays and who goes in this villa. And the power couple gets a hideaway. So the hideaway opens for the power couple. Um, and I was excited. I was like, okay, so they're introducing the hideaway. I like this little way that they're using the hideaway, because they get there a long time. They can either use it to strategize or they can use it to spend, like, build their romantic connection. So I really like it. Sully is really upset at Toby's words about her. Um, and she's just gonna go to bed and have a conversation with him in the morning. And then while Imani and Ray go to the hideaway, they do get a text that it is a power play. They are allowed to switch out any one of the couples, so they can save a couple between Johnny and Jess, Callum and Liberty, and then they have to switch it out for another one of the couples. So they do discuss. Um, Imani said, "What about leaving Johnny in, but having him kind of go after one of the other stronger couples in the villa?" But Ray said that Johnny is the only guy he really trusts, and he's concerned that if he leaves him in there, he might get eliminated. And she said, "Well, what about Toby and Georgia?" He's like, "Oh, I wouldn't want to jeopardize Toby and Georgia either." And she's like, "Well, you have to choose between Toby and Georgia or Johnny and Jess. Like, what do you want to do?" And so he does help decide that yes, they're going to remove Johnny and Jess from the board and replace them with Georgia and Toby. And it's going to be Georgia and Toby versus Callum and Liberty. And so we do see that they go to bed. We don't really get too much hideaway time beyond this. And then everybody wakes up in the morning, and it's a lot of nerves because they don't know what this duel is. They don't know what it means for them. Um, Johnny and Jess are on edge. Callum and Liberty try to train to see if this would help them. The girls talk about Megan trying to kiss EL. So it was Kira, Sally, and Imani. And Sally also says that she's disappointed in Toby. Like, she wants to clear the air yet again, but she's annoyed that he feels like she was faking her feelings. And we do see Georgia come in the dressing room, and Georgia leaves the dressing room. And Georgia does tell Toby that Sully's upset. And he says, oh, okay, so I probably need to pull her for a chat. And so he does pull her for a chat. They go up to Solstice and they have a conversation. And she is emotional, and he hugs her. And she's like, Toby, I don't understand where this is coming from. And Toby said, we were coupled up for a week and then we split and it's been radio silent. She's like, that's how I feel. I feel like ever since Georgia came in, you've ignored your feelings for me. And since we were coupled, I don't feel like you feel the same way. And it's upset me too. Because I feel like I've been going around telling everybody how great of a guy you are, and you've been going around talking crap about me to other people. And he's like, no, I haven't. I just said, like, that is how I was feeling. And I think it just is a miscommunication, it seems like. And she's like, yeah, it just really hurt me. Um, and he tries to, like, console her, but she's not there yet. And she does leave to get some water, and we see Moira returns. Her dress, guys, if you haven't seen Moira's dress, it's on Instagram. I loved this dress. I want that dress. And it's time for the duel, and Moira does announce that the loser of the duel will leave immediately. And so the vulnerable couple stand up, and Moira does announce your decisions made Imani and Ray a power couple, and Callum and Liberty and Jess and Johnny vulnerable. And she does say, hey, Imani and Ray, how was the hideaway? what happened. And they're like, it was good. It was good to have some alone time. She's like, did you get a text? And they do admit they got a text while in the hideaway, and they announced that it gave them the power to save a vulnerable couple and replace them with a couple of their choice. And Callum's like, you kept that real quiet, right? They did not say a word all day. I would be shitting bricks the amount of, like, the way they didn't say nothing. I don't know if I could. I mean, I'm pretty good at holding water, but they did a good job keeping that quiet. So Imani and Ray revealed their decision to save Johnny and Jess, and they are shocked. They say they feel like Johnny and Jess have a real connection, and they thank them profusely. And Moira asks who are they replacing Johnny and Jess with, and they do announce that they are replacing them with Toby and Georgia. Everybody's shocked. Toby is pissed, and they say it's because they were the newest connection. And so Georgia doesn't understand, and she's like, I don't understand. I really like Toby. We're just building stuff. And I was like, yeah, you're the newest connection. You're just building. And so we do see the duel that they will be doing. They have the couples tied back to back, and they basically have to try to drag themselves to a bell and ring the bell each round to win themselves the round. And so we win 3 rounds, you get to stay, and the other couple goes. And Lord, this was torture. It was just so bad to watch. If you watched my recap with Chantel last night, we explained, like, it was just like so uneven challenge wise. Like, Callum and Liberty are just so much more heavier with a lot more weight to them size wise than Georgia and Toby are. And so it was so hard to watch, because no matter how much Toby tried, like, he tried so hard. Like, we even see, so round 1, it was Callum and Liberty just dragged them to that bell. And then round 2, we see Toby really trying to, like, he almost gets there, and he couldn't do it. Like, George is being flung around like a rag doll. They're hitting into each other, while, like, really Liberty and Callum are just set into the ring. Like, they're just able to, like, have more momentum to push forward. And so we do see round 2 goes to Callum and Liberty. Round 3 also went to Callum and Liberty, but right there at the end, Liberty grabbed the rope, so they do disqualify that round, so it doesn't count. But round 4 does go to Callum and Liberty, and Georgia and Toby have lost the duel. It wasn't even just watching each round of the duel, it's watching the Islanders. Like, I feel like when we watched the first duel, the Islanders, like, it was very clear, like, everybody wanted Ray to win this, like, over Johnny. Everybody wanted Jess to, like, beat Megan. But in this, there was, like, there was no winners or losers. It was just, they were trying to encourage whoever could get this out. And it was sad. Sally couldn't even look. She was, like, covering her face. It was like ranges of emotion, from, like, devastated to, like, scared, fear, tears, everything. It was so emotional. It was so emotional. It was great TV. It was great TV, guys. But it was so emotional. So we do see Ray can't stop crying. Neither can Imani. And they're asked, do they regret their decision? They say they do regret their decision. And Sally and Toby chat. She also can't stop crying. And they do kind of say they're happy that they met each other. Um, hates that he thought their connection was fake. Didn't want him leaving feeling that way. Um, and they pack up and leave, and she's just happy that he found Georgia, and says he's happy, and that was the point. But everybody's like, this one hurts. And he says with Georgia's like, it sucks because she thought she would last a little longer. But he says, hey, he came out with a girl, and that was the goal. And that was the end of the episode. The end of the episode 9 was so emotional. And I know Divine Me said here, I'm sorry, but I never liked Toby, guess because of how he handled the situation with Kaz in this season. And I agree. I never liked how he handled Kaz in his season. I do feel like we see a different side to Toby this Love Island games, and I enjoyed Toby towards the I enjoyed Toby's ride season 7 Love Island UK. I like Toby. I do. Um, I think he seems to be a good guy. He seems to have matured. He seems to have made a better just a better person out of it. I just feel like the only thing I wish is he was a little like he had a little more of the confidence that he had in his first season. I feel like that's what was missing here and why he couldn't really connect with Sully. But Divine Me asks, don't you think the decision was a producer choice because they could leave Johnny and Jess to the duel? I don't think, no. Actually, I really do see Ray choosing to keep Johnny. He's already said, like, it's really just him and Ray from the US. So, he said that he felt like Johnny had his back. Do I feel like the timing of everything and how everything was staged? Absolutely. Do I think it was all a producer decision? Absolutely not at all. And even now, you still see Ray and Johnny are hanging out. It makes sense. Um, but we do see a preview for the next episode, which will be tomorrow night on Sunday, and bombs are dropping, and we do see a glimpse of Mike from season 6 of Love Island UK, which I just discussed. He was coupled up with Priscilla towards the end. Courtney from Love Island USA season 4, and Carrington from Love Island USA season 2. Listen, I said these are 3 of the best OGs across seasons. They are dropping as bombshells on Love Island Games, and that is the difference between Love Island Games. Like, a bombshell should be a bombshell, and here a bombshell could be one of the best OGs. I know Divine Me said she doesn't like Mike. I think that's what you said. Divine Me says, I like Jack and Justine. They look good, but I'm afraid for Mike trying to go for Justine. I'm not a fan of Mike. I like Mike. I do want to know what happened between him and Priscilla fully, but I like Mike. I liked Mike on the season. I like Mike now. Not seen anything to make me not like Mike. Would he go after Justine? I'm not sure. I know that they chatted a bit, friendship wise, on social media, but she also chatted a lot with Priscilla, so I'm not sure if that would be someplace she would go. But I can see him going after Imani. So we know that it's kind of between those two. because he likes black women. So, which again, I'm always gonna root for a guy who likes black women, um, as long as he treats them well. Um, in this, I think he would go for Imani though, and he might win. He might win. Ooh. So, guys, that is it. So I will be back Sunday night to discuss episode. Where are we? We will be on episode 10. Divine Me says, that's what I mean. I don't know exactly what happened to Mike Priscilla. Yeah, that would be my only. I like Mike's personality. He seemed like a good guy when when him and Priscilla were dating. I don't know what necessarily happened to them to understand where things left off. She's never really said, and he's never really said. So I don't know. So we will be back tomorrow night, uh, and we will discuss episode 10. From what I've gathered, we only have about another week, and then the show is over after that. So that's kind of crazy to me. This just started. But I am excited for the rest of the season. I'm excited for these 3 bombshells that are coming in. So, guys, comment in if you haven't already. Comment after the fact. Let me know who you think Mike, Courtney, and Carrington are going after. Because I can see Carrington going after Liberty. Liberty seems his type. And maybe Megan. Um, and then I can see Courtney going after Megan and Kira. Maybe Sally. And I can see Mike going after Imani, maybe Justine. Yeah. Maybe Jess. Maybe Jess. All right, guys, but you let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think ahead of tomorrow's episode, and I'll be back tomorrow night. Thank you for joining me on this lovely Saturday. You go outside, go have fun, and then come back. Join me tomorrow night. If you are not following me, follow me everywhere on Entertainment in Color. I am still covering, like I said, I have one more episode to cover for Big Brother. And I'm covering the Traders Canada. So both of those episodes recaps will be out sometime this week with my co-host Janelle Michelle, and then tomorrow morning I will be on a Bachelor Nation kick with my girls Missy Joy and Chantal Francis. We will be on this channel tomorrow morning to discuss the Golden Bachelor, and then we will be over on Chantel's channel, Reality Realness with 3 S's, to discuss Bachelor in Paradise. And then at the end of the week on November 17th, I believe Twin Love with the Bella Twins start. So I will be letting you guys know when I will be recapping that. Divine Me here with thoughts. Courtney could go after Megan, Carrington, and Jess. Yeah, so that's what I think as well. So thank you guys for joining me. Have a great Saturday. See you tomorrow. Love you. Bye.